Welcome back to Willow Tree's top tips for your commercial mortgages, commercial mortgage investments, and all of those things. So today I'm going to be covering off with you 5 of the top things you can do to speed up your commercial mortgage application. We all have been there where we're just pulling our hair out at the end because the process just seems to have stalled or things have just went wrong, and there's so much that can go wrong. But there is some ways that we can actually make sure that we get a mortgage moving really smoothly from start to finish. And this is my top 5. Number 1, pick the right solicitor. Okay, now this is crazily important because we all have got a solicitor that we've used in the past and they've done great work, and there's nothing wrong with these solicitors and they're absolutely fine. But the one big question that we forget to ask is, what is your workload right now? How fast can you move? So there's a few things you've got to do. Is when you're going in to see your solicitor, you've got to be thinking, how fast can they move? What is their workload looking like? And what's their capacity to fit you in? Most of them are going to say yes, but they're not going to be able to do it all. So by really being really strict and shopping around to find those legal firms that have got the capacity to move your application on fast is crucial. You may even want to be looking at using the same lawyers, if possible, or the same firm of lawyers as your bank or the person you're purchasing off. As long as there's different solicitors involved, that can really help speed that process up. Rather than going between 2 different offices, it's within the same building, the same company, so it can speed things up sometimes. So really be mindful of picking that. Even if it's going to take you an extra day, picking the right solicitor can save you weeks on your completion time. So tip number 2, give clear deadlines. So this is a really, really important tip with your solicitors, with accountants, with your bank manager, with any brokers, and with the other person that you're selling. You need to have clear deadlines in place. This needs to complete by this date. And you'll be amazed by not setting a deadline how quick these things can be extended, because there's no pressure on anybody. So by putting some sort of deadline in place, and now I'm not saying to be unreasonable and say, if it's not complete on this day, we are cutting our losses and we're walking away, but really having that deadline that we need to complete by that time. We need to complete by that date. The reason why auctions work so well is because there is a fixed contract deadline and everybody goes to meet that deadline. So having a deadline in your commercial mortgage and making sure everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet is crucial. So tip number 3. This tip hits closer to home here, but make sure that if you're going to be using a broker, which I always recommend that you do, a financial broker, make sure they understand the marketplace and understand the process of getting that through. Now, it's quite easy. We just assume because we've contacted them online that they know exactly what they're doing, but sometimes they can actually cause a lot of headache by just referring you to somebody that is a little bit slower, not understanding the speed and the process that needs to take place. So just by doing a little bit of research and asking a few questions about your broker in understanding how long things should take, how long things shouldn't take, and getting some sort of timeline from them and helping them understand what you're needing can really make a huge difference. So really make sure you get the right broker for you, who can actually help you find the right funder that can work within the time frame that you need to do work. All right? Okay, so this is a really crucial one, and solicitors hate it when I say this, but this is my tip number 4, okay? You've got to make sure you get the searches, or as many searches done as early as you possibly can in the game. And if anything is flagged up, deal with it then. Force them down. They will try to kick that can down the road. They will try to make sure that they don't have to do it. And let me give you an example. If there is somebody on a lease that shouldn't be there, or if there's historical charge on a property that needs to be released off before these funds can complete, and they spot them early, and the solicitor will normally say something along the lines of, it's okay, we will deal with that all down the line. We'll deal with that all together at the same time. Do not listen. Push for them to get that done there and then, because what happens is you get close to that deadline, there is less time and more stuff to do in that, so you need to kind of clear that desk as early as possible and make sure that when you sign that form, that completion and the exchange, there is nothing left to do. So make sure we get those searches, and your solicitor is on the ball really, really early. And ideally what you want to be doing is you really want to make sure that your solicitor has done everything that the other solicitor can't come back and challenge anything or check anything. It's all taken care of. So push your solicitor to really take care of the nitty little niggling details early on, so you don't have any big problems later on. Okay, so my tip number 5 is make sure you have all the information together. One of the biggest things that stalls things is drip feeding information into your lender and your solicitor and the accountants and all of those things. That's what really drags this time on. If you just gather all of the information in one slope, even if it's going to take you 3 days longer to do it that way than it would be to just drip feed a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the day after. If you gather it all together, it means that they can put some time aside there and then to go over. Because what will end up happening is, psychologically, the people that are dealing with your case will get a bit of information. Oh, I need some more information. And then they'll get a bit more information. I need some more information. And then they'll have that psyche of thinking your case is not complete yet. But if you present it all fully complete, they will see that and they'll psychologically think that's much easier, and they will deal with it quicker there and then. Otherwise, your case becomes a problem case, and we all know what we do with problem paperwork. We kind of shuffle it and move it to one side. We kind of almost delay and put that off. So you do not want your application to do that. Make sure you gather all the information together and you send it all as one complete packaged document, so that your lenders, your solicitors, and anybody else that needs to be involved in that has got everything in one fell swoop, and you're good to go. So that has been my top tips, okay? Follow those examples and you'll be amazed how simple they are, that you can follow and get your commercial mortgage zooming along. Now I want to just put one last point in before we close up this little video, but the point really simply is, they work for you, okay? And I know it's quite daunting because solicitors seem to just have their own time frames at times, and valuers can seem to be really, really distant, and the banks can be very frustrating to deal with at times. But just remember that if you set out your stall right at the beginning and you provide them all the information, then they have no comeback other than to follow them directions and them instructions. So really take advantage of this. I look forward to seeing you in my future videos. I'm Jared Jess Cook from Willow Tree Funding. If you need any support, please drop me a line. I'd love to hear how you're getting on, and if I can be of any assistance, I will speak to you soon.